It was a robbery he'd planned for years.
He's a very smart guy, so he picked his time when there was going to be a big load of cash.
He stole $19 million and vanished without a trace.
We had agents all over the country and all over the world on this case.
This was one of the most amazing cases I've ever worked on. It's possibly the case of a lifetime.
He pulled off the largest cash heist in American history. Find out how he did it, next on Masterminds. The Loomis Fargo Depot in Jacksonville, Florida handles millions of dollars a day.
They're responsible for shipments of large quantities of money to and from the Federal Reserve, and they have armed and bonded employees that handle those shipments.
But on Easter Sunday, 1997, when staff arrived to open the facility for the day, they had a surprise waiting for them.
I was very surprised.
Loomis Fargo employees start showing up for work. They go inside, they realize that someone had broken into the area where they keep the video surveillance equipment. They immediately noticed that the tapes were missing from the VCRs.
Authorities were immediately called.
When I first got to the facility, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office was already there. Immediately we knew something was amiss.
You know, I didn't know what, but something was going on. Yeah.
Officers tried to contact the 3 employees who had closed up the facility the night before. But Dan Smith, Terry Brown, and Phillip Johnson could not be reached.
I called their home phones, I called their cellulars, I faxed them. I was doing whatever a boy could do.
The initial concern was that those individuals had been kidnapped or killed, and we might have bodies in the vault.
My initial thinking was they could be busy. You know, they could be with their families, maybe playing hopscotch with the kids, making love to their wives. I don't know, we'll call tomorrow.
Police safe experts were called in to blow the bolts on the vault. Then they drilled open the security door leading to the money storage area. Inside, there were no bodies, but police discovered a staggering $19 million in cash was missing.
Where'd the money go? Damn, that thing's always locked.
Detectives scoured the premises for clues.
Loomis Fargo compound itself is completely gated around with numerous alarms. It's a hardened facility. It's got very thick concrete with double security doors on it. It's got bulletproof glass on the windows.
It's a really nice building, you know? When I'm there, I feel home.
Authorities found no signs of forced entry, but did determine a company van was missing.
It was a large Ford Econoline 150 van, plain on the sides without any obvious company markings.
That van was great.
Further investigation revealed that the security codes used to close the vault the previous night belonged to cashier Dan Smith.
So at this point, Dan Smith is becoming the primary suspect.
Suspicion intensified when Smith and the 2 other missing employees failed to report for work that afternoon.
It was a busy holiday weekend. They had routes to run. They weren't there.
You know, it's the holidays, so maybe they slept in. Who's to say?
But then, 450 miles away in North Carolina, a park ranger was confronted by a handcuffed Dan Smith running out of the woods.
Something similar happened to me when I was a child. Yeah.
Smith claimed that he and Loomis driver Terry Brown had been taken hostage by the 3rd missing employee, Phillip Johnson. Jacksonville sheriffs descended on Johnson's house and found Terry Brown handcuffed in a closet.
The closet was nice. It was like a turquoise, greenish, blue kind of thing. It was really cool. I wish I had a closet like that in my own home.
We did not discount them as suspects, even though both of them had been taken as hostage, both had been shackled. We could not, at that point, exclude them from the possible suspect list.
Dan Smith is a chill guy. I knew he wasn't involved because he is a truly phenomenal Uno player and has some of the best sportsmanship you'll ever see.
The FBI immediately initiated a manhunt for Phillip Johnson.
The highest priority at this time is to try to find Phil Johnson as quick as you can.
Poverty, racism, global warming. I mean, these seem like the bigger issues at hand, but this was a priority for sure.
Phillip Johnson had left authorities helpless to find him after masterminding the largest single-handed cash heist in U.S. history. The question is, how did he do it? Phillip Johnson, the mastermind behind the largest cash heist in U.S. history, had been at Loomis Fargo for 10 frustrating years.
Phillip Johnson was always very disgruntled, thinking that he should be advancing further and faster because he was so much smarter than everyone else.
Well, he was. That guy can solve a Rubik's Cube like it's nobody's business.
He would complain about his co-workers, he would complain about management, he complained about the working conditions at Loomis Fargo, and this went on for a number of years.
Most days I would say hello and he'd kick me in the balls.
From what we can tell, he had been planning this thing at least by 1993.
I do remember now, in '93, he told me, he said, "Jake, I'm gonna do something crazy."
Phillip Johnson was what I would call one of the early pioneers of identity theft. He would actually steal birth certificates and high school diplomas, baptism certificates from his roommates. And using those, he began to accumulate a portfolio of IDs.
I mean, one time I stole an Advil from my roommate. I don't think that's a sin.
With one of these fake IDs, Johnson rents an untraceable storage facility 450 miles away in North Carolina. After robbing $19 million from Loomis Fargo and taking 2 colleagues hostage, Phillip Johnson drives to his Jacksonville home.
He took Terry Brown into the house and handcuffed him in a closet to a pipe, left him a little food, a little water, apologized for what he had done, and then left.
The apology was very nice. He clearly had a sensitive side to him.
Then, on August 30th, 1997, Customs Agent Virginia Rodriguez interviews Johnson as he crosses into the U.S.
When Virginia Rodriguez began to question Phil Johnson at the border, he was a little snippy with her.
He seemed a little bit uncomfortable. His answers weren't quite clear.
Yeah, he was acting bizarre. He was like, "Oh, it's a coco. I'm just a baby. I'm just a baby." Oh. It was nothing like I'd ever seen.
That immediately sets the alarm bells for the customs agent. She takes him off the bus.
When she runs his ID in the name of Roger Dale Lauter, it comes back as an alias for a wanted man. Customs agents search Johnson, finding over $10,000 in cash and 6 sets of false ID.
Phillip Johnson was the guy who did the ultimate act of defiance against an employer. He pulled it off by himself, he stayed gone by himself, and in the end, he has only himself to blame.